This is Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 17th special meeting of the Michigan City Fire Merit Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to call the Michigan City Fire Merit Commission to order. This is for a special meeting, Wednesday, August the 17th, 2022, and we are in the Fire Administration Office. And if you would stand, and we will do the pledge to the flag. Everybody, if you would, put your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next order. Did you get an agenda? Here, I've got an extra one if you don't have. Anybody else need an agenda? Let me call the roll. We will start with Mike Nyland, absent. Bob Pollock, secretary, here. Greg Deutscher, present. Desiree Nichols. Present. We do have a quorum, 3 are present. We had a long discussion about what does constitute a quorum if we did not have 3, but fortunately we have 3 out of 4, so we are in good shape. The discussion basically is on the adoption of rules and regulations, number 1 and 2, which have to do with the Michigan City drug policy or drug and alcohol testing policy, and I'm going to start with the chief in terms of he talking about the importance of this in terms of the fire department and why it is so crucial to be in line with the city.
Sure. I basically want the Merit Commission to adopt this rules and regulations of the drug policy so that we are treated equally with everybody else in the city. I don't want it to be a case-by-case issue. The Merit Commission, I believe, has to do the corrective action on this. I can only give 5 days. You guys have to do the rest. The policy states 30 days. So that's why I need you guys to adopt it or acknowledge it so we can make it same and equal treatment as the rest of the city employees.
It's my understanding this is in accordance with the union contract situation. Am I correct?
Yes, and every contract that we do, the last sentence, the union and city shall abide by the City of Michigan City uniform policy for a drug-free workplace.
We do have Ms. April Page Stahlbrink, our city attorney here, and we also have our own attorney, Corey Schaffner. Ms. Stahlbrink, would you care to make any comments on this?
Sure, absolutely. So there was an incident last year that kind of led me to investigate a little bit further. And the first question is, does your Merit Commission have specific rules that you've adopted? And the answer was no. So what I did is went back into our ordinance and found the language about how the commission can adopt rules. And what I had suggested is that the commission formally adopt and acknowledge the city's drug policy and incorporate it into your rules, as well as if there are any type of disciplinary hearings, that you have a rule regarding pre-hearing conferences so that you can, in that pre-hearing conference, identify hearing officers, dates, times when subpoenas need to be propounded upon certain individuals if a contested hearing is required, deadlines for discovery dates. You guys don't have anything like that. So I thought, in all fairness, I think it would be beneficial to this commission to adopt rules, these, and maybe even future ones if the commission deems it to be necessary, just because you don't have any. So when you look at the ordinance about how you adopt rules, one of the requirements is that you have a public hearing, which I think today is also advertised that you have a public hearing, and that you have to formally adopt by virtue of a resolution. And if you do adopt, then the president and the Merit Commission secretary have to also sign a copy of each rule adopted.
Thank you. Ms. Schaffner, do you have any comments you'd like to add to that?
No, I already did this on the page.
Any questions, comments from board members? Greg?
No, because the chief stated this is not to change, it's just to adopt it. I had some questions on CBD oil, and it says it's part of a illegal substance here, but
Correct, under the cities, correct. It could be, you could test positive for that.
I know, I'm just saying, but it's not, but it's a legal drug, and it's also, used for pain, and it's a lot less invasive as a lot of these other pain medicines. But this is not a meeting to change the rules, so. That would be one of my objections for a change.
Any other comments from the
Yes,
public? Go ahead.
I was just looking in here, and my concern is that the fire department, as of the last testing we had no knowledge of the gentleman that was tested, whether he went to the testing, whether he, other than I called and asked about it, I asked the chief, but we had no idea if he,
The last case that you're referring to, there was no test because he refused.
yeah, but he still had,
We had no,
he had a test after that.
he has tested after that, correct?
He had a test after that, he had to go to his,
That's what you're talking about? Okay.
yeah, so those things it says here it should be preserved. It's confidential in nature of but, as a mayor committee, if we're going to be in charge of the disciplinary, I think we should have the information that he went, got tested, his results, if he's going to his drug alcohol program. Instead of being in the dark, I had to call the chief and find out what's going on. Is this guy complying or not complying, or
Sure,
what's happening?
That's probably what we could work out with the personnel director, and
Personnel director.
whatever they can send you,
He has the
yeah.
responsibility for monitoring all of that, absolutely.
Well, but they were also, as I thought, responsible for doing the discipline, and then they've thrown it on us, and now we don't have any of the results, or I have no idea what happened with this guy.
Well, I think if there was a problem, you would have definitely been notified.
Yeah, clearly. And just to speak on the comment about discipline, about how the personnel director, I think we went through that originally last year and how that came about, and trying to rectify, some wrongs that have happened in the past, because this board is the disciplinary board. So chief has 5 days, and that's the max. Anything beyond that comes to you guys.
Well, I have a question. Chief, you read there at the end of the contract that the firefighters go by the city.
The union and city shall abide by the City of Michigan City uniform policy for a drug-free workplace.
That includes the firefighters, right?
Correct. That's how I read it. The union and city.
Well, then, wouldn't that person automatically get whatever punishment would come about from the city?
And that's how it had been done until it was found that state action, is that correct statement? I can only give 5
Correct,
days.
correct.
I can only give 5 days, and the
Correct.
only other person that can discipline them is the merit commission. The city can't discipline them, nobody else can discipline them, is that correct? Am I saying that correct?
Correct. And even in the city's own drug testing policy, it acknowledges the
And,
special nature of merit commission.
let me find it real quick.
I don't think in the ordinance it says anything about a failed drug test as a disciplinary action. I know it says driving under the influence, but it doesn't say a failed drug test for discipline.
So here it is right here.
It does.
Does it?
Yeah, there's for failed, yeah.
After it explains the corrective action plan, it's, this is 7.4. All corrective action for public safety officers will be
Talks about
administered
30
in
days.
accordance with departmental rules and regulations and with Indiana Code 36-8-3-4. So they're considered public safety officers. and that puts them to be disciplined through the department. I can only get 5 days. They have to do everything. But them acknowledging it, and correct me if I'm wrong, if they acknowledge or adopt into their rules this correct master plan, then it will be, to me, automatic. They will get the 30 days. No question asked.
In other words, yeah.
There's still due process. There's still due process of that they have to initiate, give notice, opportunity to be heard. It's by statute.
Oh, the employee has a chance to be heard.
Correct, you still have to follow the normal discipline, correct. This is just another layer, hey, we acknowledge it, this is what it is, we're incorporating it in all of our rules as well. It's just another layer,
What is,
we're not changing anything.
what's going to happen? Are there any recourse for the people that were disciplined through the city that were disciplined through the Merit Commission?
Again, that's not the issue today.
Okay, but I'm just saying, could it possibly be an issue?
I don't know who has and who hasn't.
Okay.
Are there any further comments from the public? The chair would just like to make a couple of comments. Number one, I think we do have to align the fire department with the city's policy. I think that the city has to keep their employees in line in terms of the various regulations that have to be adhered to, and certainly the drug policy and the alcohol policy is one of those. The second one is kind of a small thing, and I'm certainly not going to vote on this, but under Exhibit B, and I'm not sure if it should be there or not, but I'm looking at a situation where they have not added fentanyl to this nor carfentanil, and we do know that one of those drugs, two of those drugs that are coming across the border are certainly terrible situations if they are not done under the control of an anesthesiologist. So as a result of that, we have apparently over 100,000 deaths in the country if you listen to the national broadcast as a result of fentanyl, and I think we should take a look at putting fentanyl and carfentanil, which is another one of these.
Wasn't it on opioid?
Pardon? Is it under an opioid?
It's
Okay.
going to register fentanyl.
Yeah,
Legal substance.
I guess I'd like to see it put on, I guess I'd like to see it put specifically on.
We're not here for change, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it should, that you need to go through the adoption procedure, but I certainly think it ought to be listed because it is such a horrible
Okay,
situation.
but when somebody screens, it's not going to come up as fentanyl, it's going to come up as an opioid.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that answered my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we adopt and incorporate the city's drug and alcohol policy into our rules.
So basically, the motion would be to adopt the resolution to adopt Regulation 1 and Regulation 2, right?
I make a motion to adopt Regulation 1 and Regulation 2 of the city's drug and alcohol policy.
I think that it has to be read. Pursuant to the ordinance, it has to be read. Each regulation shall be read in full.
I'd say that'd be great for the city attorney to read.
I would love to do that. I'd love to do that for you. So you have a resolution that references Regulation Number 1. Regulation Number 1 is entitled Incorporation of City's Drug and Alcohol Testing Policy. The Fire Merit Commission acknowledges and recognizes the city's drug and alcohol testing policy, including any subsequent amendments of the same, and incorporates said policy by reference herein, including related suspensions, terminations for a failed alcohol or drug screen. That "of" is a typo. Change that, or drug screen. Regulation Number 2, pre-hearing conference for all disciplinary, demotion, or termination matters requiring a hearing. The party shall conduct a pre-hearing conference. The pre-hearing conference does not need to include the Fire Merit Commission. The pre-hearing conference may be recorded, and a court reporter may be present to transcribe the proceedings. The president or vice president of the Fire Merit Commission shall attend the pre-hearing conference and issue pre-hearing written orders, which shall include but not be limited to the following: the identity of the hearing officer conducting the hearing. The party should identify any subpoenas required, including the full names and addresses of persons sought to be subpoenaed. Deadline for parties to exchange witness and exhibit list and deadlines for adding witnesses or documents. Requiring the parties to raise any objections to any aspect of the pre-hearing order within 5 days after the issuance of the same. Objections must be reduced to writing, filed with the commission, and a copy provided to the other party. requiring the parties to make any objections to the procedures and/or board composition before the day of the hearing. Objections must be reduced to writing, filed with the commission, and copy provided to either party, and any other orders deemed relevant herein. The attorney for the Fire Merit Commission shall assist the president or vice president in reducing the attorney to writing and timely disseminating to the parties. I think there's a typo. The attorney for the Fire Merit Commission shall assist the president or vice president in reducing the orders to writing and timely disseminating to the parties.
It would have been very hard for her to read that. We need a copy
You
of
need a
this.
copy.
You don't have that. A copy of that. See, I did you a great favor because she could definitely read very quickly.
I thought that's what you guys were looking at.
Yeah.
I'm looking
I
at
thought
the
this was-
drug ordinance.
I gave the drug policy and she would,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not what we had.
they don't have that one.
Okay, they should.
They should have.
They should.
You know, it could have, would have, we don't.
That's what we get, wait a minute, no?
I guess it's my fault because it was sent to the president, and the president was the former president.
That's okay. That's all right. Do you want my copy? Because then you guys will have
I can
to
make some.
approve the resolution.
Yes, could you make us a copy?
Here.
I hope I can. Our copy machine was given us service, but
Sorry about that.
No, that's one that was emailed to you guys a while back. Let me double check. I don't know if Ms. Nichols received it because she wasn't on the board at that time.
I remember seeing the resolution.
Well, the chair will declare a 2-minute recess while we come in with the proper copies for anybody that needs a recess.
You know, whether it was emailed to me or not, I need a copy. Yeah,
Are you resuming the meeting now?
What? I'm
Are you
good.
resuming the meeting?
Yeah, I'm going to restart the meeting.
Okay, yep.
Ms. Nichols, would you like to restate your motion and we'll go from there?
Exactly what, before I restate this, what exactly what does it need to say?
So what you would be doing is making a motion approving the enactment of Fire Merit Commission rules and regulations number 1 and 2.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the enactment of the Fire Merit Commission rules and regulations number 1 and 2.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt fire regulations number 1 and 2, which have been stated by our city attorney. Call a vote. Ms. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Deutscher?
Yes.
And the chair also votes yes. Motion passes 3-0. Any further discussion to come before the board?
I just have a question. So you're going to make sure that all the firefighters get copies, or do they have a copy of this drug and alcohol policy, and then they're going to acknowledge that they received this?
they've already done that.
They've already done that?
They sign that when they come on the job, and I believe, like myself, I came on the job before it was enacted. I believe I signed the form also. Once they enacted it, everybody had to sign one of those. As far as I remember, but a new employee does get that. Yep.
Thank you.
Now, come on, man, so I can't
Go
remember.
ahead.
We should probably,
It says the commission shall distribute to all firefighters copies of the regulations and adopt. So yes, it will.
That was my
That's why I
question.
wanted to make sure it was in here.
the
Yeah,
new
it
stuff,
does.
we will, can we do that electronically, or the,
Yeah.
that's American, actually.
Well, it says the commission shall distribute all
Okay.
the rules and regulations, but I'm assuming that the secretaries in your office help.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
make that happen. Does it have to be, can it be electronic, or does it have to be?
No, it could be electronic.
Any further discussion or questions to come before the committee?
If it can be electronic, what if, I guess you can send it to the stations, everybody has a...
We do a mass email. Everybody has a
And
Michigan
just
City email.
probably distribute to the stations as
I
well.
mean, yeah,
But does everybody have an email address that will receive it? Or, you know, how emails are, people say, I didn't get that email. I think it should be a hard copy.
Yeah, hard copy of the station.
Whatever.
Yeah, there's no harm.
We'll post it at the
Because
station.
people can say, oh, I didn't get that email.
Any other further discussion or questions to come before the Merit Commission? None appearing, the chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Like I said, I wrote on these.